Hello once again, Johnny Be Good here with Johnny's Be Good Reviews, and today I'm going to be covering Peaky Blinders. Now, when this show first came out, it didn't really seem that appealing to me. Just didn't really seem like my thing. My mobster movies and shows, I guess, have a different style, a different taste, what have you. But eventually I ran out of shows and thought, what the hell, I'll give it a try. And although it took me a few episodes, once I got into this show, my God, is it good. Before I get into too much detail on this review, I feel like I need to cover a little ground and tell you guys a little bit about what you need to look for this review and many more reviews to come. First of all, I'm going to talk about the strength of story, the SOS as I like to say. I'm going to talk about its originality. I'm of course going to go over the soundtrack. And then the last thing I'm going to do is take a handful of my favorite characters and then explain to you why they're my favorite. And a big reason for that will be because they're such good actors. I'm then going to talk to you about the lead role, and then I'm going to give you my overall grade. Peaky Blinders is created by Stephen Knight. It's directed by Otto Bathurst, Tom Harper, and Colm McCarthy. It stars Annabelle Wallis, Joe Cole, Helen McCrory, Paul Anderson, Sam Neill, Cillian Murphy, and a few appearances from a very talented, very popular actor that I'm gonna leave a secret because it definitely surprised me, just like I think it will surprise you. Peaky Blinders is set in 1919 Birmingham, England, and it tells the story of a razor-wearing, ruthless gangster family and their loyalty to their leader, Tommy Shelby, who has no plans but to move up in the world. Yeah, the show took me a few episodes to get into, but like I said, once I did, I fell in love with these characters and I was swept away with the film cinematography. After researching more into the film, I remember reading, this is the Sherlock Holmes of gangster movies. And it is that exactly. This show is calm and patient, and it takes its time with each scene, not only allowing you to really appreciate the imagery and admire how each scene is carefully put together, but it allows great character development. You feel for these characters. You want to know where their story is going. And each one of them has a very unique and very emotional story to tell. And although the show can be slow at times, it still manages to finish just about every single episode with a... As far as the soundtrack goes, even though Nick Cave in the Bad Seeds' Red Right Hand is played several times throughout the show, and don't get me wrong, I like that song a lot, Dumb and Dumber, there's still a lot of really enjoyable songs as well as a few renditions of Red Right Hand. The originality of this show is probably about as strong as its storyline. Starts off slow, but then pulls you in and does not let go. We've got a lot of really diverse characters with quite a few of what I like to call good at being bad guys. The overall feel of this show is great. It really proves that a gritty film doesn't have to be so down and depressing the whole time. I actually had a lot of fun with this show. And even though the end of Season 2 wasn't quite the cliffhanger I was hoping for, I have no doubt in my mind that a few episodes into Season 3, it'll pull me right back in. Paul Anderson. Now, when I first got introduced to this character, I remember thinking, okay, this is the asshole of the group. Every group has one, and you either like them or you don't. But one thing in particular that I look for in my assholes, with asshole characters such as this is, even if it's small, a soft spot. A reason for why they're so angry all the time. And Paul Anderson does such a good job through showing Arthur Shelby's emotions. There's a scene where it's life and death with him, and it's so suspenseful, and I was so taken by it that it made me realize how much I cared about this character. There's times that he's gonna piss you off, but you just can't help but care about him. Nevertheless, Paul Anderson did a great job. Helen McCrory. One thing I love about this show is how relatable its characters are to the actual show itself. There's characters that you didn't think you'd be that interested in or care for that much that actually become some of your favorites. Helen McCrory gives so much depth and background to her character that I was so eager to find out what it is she was trying to find out. and I loved how hostile she was towards the people that stood in her way of finding out what it is she needs to know. If there's an actor or an actress that can make me tear up or even cry, I'm in love. And there's a scene where she's staring at a globe, and all I'll say is be prepared for what you're about to hear, because it's one of the saddest, deepest things I've ever heard. Helen McCrory is terrific, and I can't wait to see more of her in season 3. Cillian Murphy in this is just as awesome as he has been in anything else. 28 Days Later, Inception, or Batman Begins. Only this time, it feels like this is the role that he was born to play. Cillian Murphy, just like the show, gives us a performance that's both patient and pragmatic, and although I'd like to see more of his violent side, that's definitely not to say that he doesn't have one. Cillian Murphy plays the classy badass that always knows what to say, and 9 times out of 10 will always win. And when he doesn't, he always knows how to handle it. I have no doubt in my mind that Cillian Murphy will either win, if not be nominated for some kind of award through this role. Before I wrap everything up, I want to give a big shout out to my good friends Michael Said and Thomas Lucas for helping me out with the skit in the beginning of this review. I'd also like to say that in light of the upcoming holiday, I think I'm going to do a horror movie review, if not a few. And hopefully Thomas and my girlfriend will be sitting in on these just because they're bigger horror movie fans than I am. And if you want to know why, watch Chris Stuckman's The Problem with Horror Movies today. It's a really good video. One last thing I want to talk about is my other love for movies that's not the mobster world of organized crime, but Marvel Comics, the MCU. I love it. It's my thing. It's been my thing since I was a little kid, and now it's huge. I may do a Sony Marvel movie review. I may do a Fox Marvel movie review. But I will always do a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie review. And for those of you that don't know the difference, be sure to watch my Marvel movie reviews. You guys know what I'm gonna say. Maybe Peaky Blinders was good. Maybe you should stop debating what you're gonna watch next on Netflix and do yourselves a favor. The next reviews that I'm going to be tackling is the first season of Narcos, the new Tom Hardy movie Legend, the independent film Let Me Make You a Martyr, and last but certainly not least, Captain America: Civil War. So be sure to tune into those coming very soon, and once again, until next time, I am Johnny Be Good with Johnny's Be Good Reviews, and let's hope the next movie will be good.